Hello, fellows. Good morning to you all. In our last class, we learned about elastic, inelastic, and unitary elastic demand. In this class, we shall interrelate them with total, average, and marginal revenue. Let us first learn about total, average, and marginal revenue. What is total revenue? Total revenue is the total amount of money a firm receives from selling its goods or services. And we can have total revenue multiplying price and quantity. This is the formula for having total revenue. Total revenue equals P multiplied by Q. P stands for price of the product and Q stands for quantity sold. What is average revenue? Average revenue is the revenue earned from per unit of output sold. That is, revenue for per unit output sold is average revenue. And we can get average revenue dividing total revenue by quantity. Again, as we know, total revenue is price multiplied by quantity. When we divide it by quantity, QQ crossed, price remains. It means average revenue is always equal to price. Average revenue equals price. Then comes the marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue due to 1 unit change in output sold. That is, to have marginal revenue, we have to divide change in total revenue by the change in output sold. Or we can have it differentiating total revenue with respect to quantity. This is how we can define, and we can have total revenue, average revenue, and marginal revenue. We can explain the concepts with an example. If we are given a demand equation, from the demand equation we can easily derive total revenue, average revenue, marginal revenue. Here is an example. You see, Q equals 25 minus 0.5 P. This is a demand equation. How do you know? Because of this minus sign. This minus sign confirms that the relationship between price and quantity is inverse. If price rises, quantity demanded falls, and if price falls, quantity demanded rises. It is true for law of demand. That is why this is a demand equation. If we are given the demand equation, using the demand equation, we can derive total revenue, average revenue, marginal revenue. Let us first derive the average revenue. When the demand equation is given, Q equals 25 minus 0.5 P, to derive the average revenue, we shall change the sides of the variables. We shall bring the independent variable to the left, dependent variable to the right. That is, we shall bring the price variable to the left, quantity variable to the right. And we can write like this: 0.5 P equals 25 minus Q. Now, if we divide both sides by 0.5, we get P equals 25 by 0.5. 25 by 0.5 means 250 by 5 equals 50 minus 1 by 0.5 equals 2. 50 minus 2Q. So P equals 50 minus 2Q. And as we know, average revenue always equals price. That is why you can write this price equals average revenue. That is, average revenue equals 50 minus 2Q. Once the average revenue is in hand, we can derive the total revenue multiplying price by quantity. Here average revenue is the price. So price is 50 minus 2Q. Price is 50 minus 2Q. So when we multiply price by quantity, it means we multiply 50 minus 2Q by quantity. So we get 50Q minus 2Q square. To have the marginal revenue, we have to differentiate the total revenue. When we differentiate the total revenue with respect to quantities sold, we get differentiation of 50Q. 50 comes first, DDQ of Q equals 1. So it will be 50 minus 2 multiplied by 2 equals 4. So it becomes 4Q, because we know in the power function rule, we have to deduct 1 from the power. So 2 minus 1 equals 1. So it is Q to the power 1. So it is Q to the power 1. Hence we can say, so it is Q to the power 1. So we can say marginal revenue equals 50 minus 4Q. This is how we can derive average revenue, total revenue, and marginal revenue from the demand equation. You can do by yourself. You can consider a demand equation, for example, Q equals 10 minus 0.1 P, and then you can derive average revenue, total revenue, and marginal revenue.